Good evening. Here is the world news from our studios from Babadede Imo TV, BGI TV. First are the major headlines this hour. I am Rabila Lawal. Nigeria has never been this united since civil war. Senator Bukola Saraki. Governor Wike challenges FG on Executive Order 10 on states. FG cannot start Paris Club deduction now, says Fayemi. Mob lynches 3 suspected bandits informants in Kaduna. And to sports, former Ranger Code dies at 73. Let's have the news in details. Dr. Bukola Saraki is a colossus in the Nigerian political landscape and the scion of the Saraki political dynasty of Kwara State. Starting out as a member of the People's Democratic Party, he was later to dump his party for the All Progressive Congress in 2013, where he was one of those that were instrumental in installing retired Major General Muhammadu Buhari as Nigerian president in 2015. He subsequently became the president of the Senate and chairman of Nigeria's 8th National Assembly, but fallout with President Buhari, who wanted Senator Hamid Lawan to lead the federal legislature. The split between Buhari and Saraki forced him to return to the PDP on July 13, 2018, where he became the leader of the opposition. Ever since, Saraki has been confined to party politics and superintending over the National Reconciliation Strategy Committee of the PDP, where his primary mandate has been to settle the crisis that rocked the various state chapters of the party.
Indicate that hopefully, we're pretty hopeful that we'll have a very smooth and successful convention of our party. I think this is different from really the other party, and where you have parallel congresses all across the country in over 20 states. As an opposition party, we've been able to manage our congresses. Yes, there are 1 or 2 cases in court, but I don't think that changes the commitment of our members to stay united and resolve our differences. In political parties, there would be differences, but what really matters is the leadership and the commitment of its members to find solutions. We're going into the convention, I think, out of probably 24 positions. I think we've already reached consensus in about 21. I think probably about 3 or 4 left. So it shows a party that understands the importance of the time in the country today, and that is not about us, the politicians, but it's about us creating a platform that gives us an opportunity to provide leadership for this country at this crucial time. So by and large, I am satisfied with it. Of course, there's no perfection in the process, but when you compare the options, because elections are about choices, when you look at the choice that you have between a party that's been able to carry out ward and local government and state congresses, and then you have another party that you have over parallel congresses in about 2/3 of the states, I think the difference is very, very clear. Today, I'm happy to report that a lot of these state chapters we've been able to reconcile. I mean, we have 2 states that we had problem for over 10 years, where we've had our efforts, we've been able to bring about resolutions and some kind of harmony in those states. So by and large, we're still work in progress. But I think we're showing the country that, it is, despite all the noise that people are saying about our crisis, I don't think those crises are there. To the best of my knowledge, I don't think we have probably maybe 1, if at all, that we see any parallel congresses in our states. That is a far cry different from what is happening in the other parties. So by and large, I think those of us in the PDP are satisfied. There's still, of course, areas for improvement. There's still some states that we've not been able to resolve. There's still knotty issues in a few states. We're still working at that. But I think our concern as a party now is Saturday, our convention coming up on Saturday, to be able to showcase a united party. And as you know, that I chaired the National Reconciliation Committee that was set up like almost a year ago, where we thought a lot, we tried to find a way of reconciling a lot of this committee had 2 former Senate presidents, from former governors, former leaders, and we went around state by state, and we can see the results of that in a lot of our states. Plateau, Nasarawa, Niger. We had cases like in Ogun, also states like in Borno State, across the country, where it's possible to bring our people together.
River State's governor, Wike, says he cannot be coerced into signing for states' use of the judicial autonomy as been proposed by the federal government. Governor Wike says the action of the federal government to recommend uniform terms and conditions for the administration of the judicial arm of government in a federal system of government prejudices the powers of the federating states to manage its affairs. He urges that the constitution of the country guarantees the legal and financial independence of the judiciary, which his administration is religiously implementing. And in case you're just joining us, you're watching the world news from BGI TV. Let's keep watching as we need to tell you our 3 major social media handles. On YouTube, Baba Bagede Imo TV is our handle. You need to subscribe and click on the notification bell for more updates so as for you to receive more of our programs as it's dropping. And on Facebook, Bagede Imo with Alawiye Adebayo. Please like the page and follow the page for more updates and keep sharing. And on Instagram, Bagede Imo _22.
I will not sign anything on the NJC say I should do this. I will not do that. I was not appointed. I was elected by the people of the state. I was not appointed, I was elected. And by law, I'm the only one who can present budget to the legislature. Nobody can present budget, it is me, as allowed by the Constitution. Federal government is coming to show, you see, we are trying to give people independence. The state government are those who don't want people to have independence. Story. What is independence? All the federal courts in the state have her. How are they? Federal government. Mention from one state to the other. What is the nature? What is the statute of federal courts? For you to show whether they really want this independence. Are they giving the judiciary at the federal level the budget they are supposed to have in order to put the courts in order? One of those people pushing for this, Itanan is there. He's there. He knows what he's doing cannot work. But he knows as a politician, he wants to be governor of appointment. So there is that tendency for him to say, Mr. President, I'm pushing for this, I'm working for you. He knows that he can work. He knows. If anybody touches River State money to say you are deducted, it's wahala. It's wahala. We are not operating a unitary system. We are operating a federal system. Give River State their money. When we come, we share our money. But to say you take my money there, trouble. No, I will not agree. That's not anybody can tell me I will agree. I will not sign one law. I will not sign. I won't even send to the legislature. Nobody can force me how my state will operate. Nobody. Nobody can say, send this bill to the legislature for you to have autonomy.
Chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum and Governor of Ekiti State, Fayemi, says the federal government cannot commence its plans to make deduction from the Federation account for payments of consultants for the Paris Club reform. Governor Fayemi stated these while fielding questions from journalists on the sidelines of the 27th Nigerian Economic Summit in Abuja on Tuesday. The federal government plans to begin deduction from the Federation account for payments of $418 million private consultants who took part in the Paris Club reform. This move by the federal government is projected to affect the recurrent expenditure of at least 36 and 33 states, and they may not be able to pay the salaries of their workers. For this reason, the chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum says the state governors are not in support of the decision. According to him, a situation where the federal government makes arbitrary deductions without the input of states governors is wrong. He says state governors have agreed not to collect any allocation from the Federation Allocation Account, FAAC, until the issues are resolved. We are dealing with issues where we'll find a resolution to it as far as states are concerned. They do not accept that funds belonging to Federation account could just be arbitrarily deducted without the input of the state, and that is why we're insisting that until this is clarified, we would rather leave the money in the pool until we have all agreed on the direction, Governor Fayemi said. 3 suspected bandit informants have been killed by a mob at Zango Aya community in Igabi, local government area of Kaduna State. The victims are one Abdullahi Mohammed Gobirawa, his wife Binta Abdullahi, and his son Hassan Abdullahi. The State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Arwa, said the incident happened on Monday afternoon when the angry mob stormed the home of the deceased, identified to be informants of bandits who are responsible for the recent kidnapping in the area. After killing the 3 family members, the mob also looted their property before setting their house ablaze. Receiving the report, Governor Nestor El-Rufai expressed sadness at the violent action of the citizens and strongly condemned the extrajudicial killings. He stressed that lawful means alone should be adopted in confronting suspicions of criminality, as the direct destructive practice of self-help would help result in greater harm. The governor therefore directed security agencies to conduct thorough investigations into the incident and urged citizens to maintain order. He also cautioned against stereotyping of any sort and appealed for consistent recourse to the continued agencies. The federal government has asked the Court of Appeal in Abuja to order a fresh trial in an alleged 7.1 billion naira laundering charge against the former governor of Abia State, Orji Kalu, who is now a senator. The government is asking the appellate court to set aside a September 29 judgment of the Federal High Court Abuja, which prohibited it from retrying the former governor and his firm, Slug Nigeria Limited. The federal government, through the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, also want the appeal court to order Senator Kalu and his company to submit themselves for retrial in line with the order of the Supreme Court in its May 8, 2020 judgment, voiding the earlier trial and conviction of Kalu and 2 others and ordering a retrial. The requests were contained in 2 notices of appeal filed by a lawyer to the EFCC, Rotimi Jacobs, against the 2 judgments delivered by Justice Ian Eko of the Federal High Court Abuja. Moving forward from the world news from our studio is the sport news. Former Scotland and Rangers manager Walter Smith has died at the age of 73. The Glasgow Giants confirmed on Tuesday. The story has it that it is with profound sadness we announced the departed soul of former manager, chairman and club legend Walter Smith, Rangers said in a statement. Smith is Rangers' second most successful ever manager, winning 21 trophies across 2 spells in charge. Already at the club as assistant to Grammy Sons, Smith was appointed full-time manager at Ibrox in 1991 and won 7 league titles in 8 years to lead the club to a record equaling 9 consecutive Scottish League titles. After a 4-year stint at Everton and a brief spell at Alex Ferguson's assistant at Manchester United, he was appointed manager of Scotland in 2004. In 2007, he returned to Ibrox, winning 3 more league titles and guiding Rangers to the UEFA Cup final in 2008 before retiring in 2011. Before we call it a wrap on the world news this moment, let's quickly go through the headlines once again. Nigeria has never been disunited since civil war. Senator Bukola Saraki. Governor Wike challenges FG on Executive Order 10 on states. FG cannot start Paris Club deduction now, says Fayemi. Mob lynches 3 suspected bandit informants in Kaduna. And that was the world news from BGI TV, Baba Bagade Imo TV. If you've enjoyed this, let's meet up again for the Ojumalayo tomorrow morning and the national news with the world news. Before we go, we thank you for being there for us and for advert placement and coverage of your events and ceremonies. Do not hesitate to call the marketing department's phone number 070-3822-6160 and our 3 social media handles on YouTube, Baba Bagede Imo TV. Kindly subscribe and click on the next icon, notification bell for updates. And on Facebook, Bagede Imo with Alawiye Adebayo. Please like the page and follow the page. On Instagram, _22. I am yours faithfully, Rabi Lawal. Have a nice time.